I'm here today with two teachers from the Brigantine Community School. We have Chris Roth and Dave Gatto. How you guys doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. We're here today for another episode of Tell Me More. And you guys are going to tell me more. All right.
All right.
So my wife, Kelly, does a lot of stuff here with the school. I sometimes come along and help. She has worked, I think, with both of you quite a bit, right?
Yes.
Maybe not so much you, but I know we've done things in your classroom with
Yes.
your third graders, right?
Mhm.
So great class, great teacher.
Thank you.
Your kids are always very well behaved. They listen well. He's got some good tricks there. So
Thanks.
so Kelly connected us. She thought it would be a good idea that we sit down and just have a conversation. Three dads that like photography and at least a mild fondness for cars of different types, different ages, right? And clearly we're three guys, so we all have kids, and we're all getting a little gray. Some of us more than others. So all right. So you teach third grade,
Yes.
and you teach
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th. Oh man. So all right. So already I feel a little worse off for you than you, because third graders are still a lot of fun. 7th and 8th can be a bit challenging.
I would never be able to do what you do. I would never be able to teach third grade. I substituted. It was one of the hardest days of my life. So I respect tremendously what you do.
It's a neat age. It really is. I feel like they still have that innocence about them, and they still get the corny humor, and they laugh at my jokes, but like you can still reward their behavior. Like I try to do positive reinforcement. So like they perk up real quick when you reward them with the Buccaneer buck, and those little things. I don't know. I feel like I'm still a kid at heart. And so it's easier to connect. And I think that your job dealing with that age group where they're changing and they're finding their way, I feel like that could be tricky too. They might be like, oh well, I'm too cool for this, or just trying to fit in with a certain crowd.
Definitely like a lot of changes going on at the age that you're teaching.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think I've always been very, very flexible. And I think the changes that they have every day, the differences in mood and the differences in what they want or what they think is important, to me, that's like a challenge. And I enjoy that. And it keeps the day exciting, because, in middle school, you never know what the day is going to look like. Yeah. You never know. And it's always, always different than what you think it's going to be, which I love.
Right.
And I honestly would never want to do another grade. Like originally I'd wanted to go into high school, and I didn't get that job 24 years ago. And I'm so thankful that I didn't. I landed in middle school, and I would never want anything else.
It's interesting. I've only taught third, and that's how I feel like that's where I want to be.
So isn't it? It's kind of crazy how, especially myself as I get older, you always find yourself right where life needs you to be.
Absolutely.
Right? We've had other plans, and it just tends to work out that you end up kind of where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
No matter how much you try to do something else, you end up right where you are. And it's kind of like, embrace it. You're supposed to be here, right?
That's beautifully said. I think that kind of goes along with how I wound up here. This is my 24th year teaching. I was in the school district before this for 20 years and another one for 3 years before this. I was not looking for a job. It's one of those things where you sometimes God just leads you somewhere and you can't fight it.
Yeah.
You just have to go along with it, because some things just happen too easily to be considered anything else.
Right.
So
it just falls into place.
Literally, that's what happened.
I have the exact same situation. I wasn't looking for a job either. I was in a different school for 10 years, and someone told me that there was a job opening, and it closed that day. And I said,
wow.
I actually left school early to go try to gather all my documents because I always loved Brigantine. It was always a place I wanted to be. It's a place where I come to hang out and enjoy myself. And it's like a little hidden gem. And I was like, I gathered everything and got it in, right before the 4 o'clock deadline, and here I am. It was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You were at your district for 10 years. You were crazy to leave, right?
Right.
I was at my district for 20 years. I was crazy to leave, giving up tenure, giving up, everything,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
But it was the minute I came in here, like I have never regret. Like I am so happy. This is, and I'm not just saying this because people from Brigantine are listening to this. This is a very special place. This is a very special district. There's nowhere else like this. The kids are amazing. The staff, the administration, it's just completely different than anywhere else.
Right.
We have the freedom to be able to be ourselves as teachers, which allows us to do the best we can do, which then allows the kids to be the best that they can be. Like I've seen things from kids here that I've never seen before. Like just, their excitement and their, just love for coming into the room. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So like, again, sometimes God just leads you somewhere. You can't fight it. You just gotta.
And the perspective helps, the perspective of being somewhere else, being planted somewhere else for, and being so accustomed to the routine of that, institution or, school or whatever. And then coming here just gives you perspective on how good it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Nice. Now, how long have you guys been teaching here?
This is my first year. I just started in September.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
But I've been my 24th year.
So when they did that thing for Veterans Day, right? What do they call it?
That's where I first saw you guys, right?
Yes, because I remember. And what do they call that again?
Not Steps for Vets. I forget. It's
Kelly will know. So edit it and add it here or here in the video. So so I remember I came into your classroom. We were recording, and
Yes.
I came in with a camera and saw your class, and I was aware of that program, but that was the first time I came into the school while it was taking place, and I was so impressed.
Oh yeah.
Just the amount of not just patriotism for the country, but the participation of the students in the classroom. Like your classroom was decorated like, crazy, and all the kids were happy.
Yeah, and you would think that middle school kids wouldn't really, it might be too cool to do that, but not here. Like they embrace it, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and so you first year, all right,
first year here, yeah.
So we'll maybe circle back the end of the year and get your final input on the school. But it seems like it's going good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about for you? You've been here.
This is my sixth year. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, Emma was in my
first. That's right.
My first class, and it was crazy. Yeah, I'm sure you remember your first day. Like, man, this is nuts. Like, what am I doing? And then the kids, I just remember interacting with the kids, and they were so welcoming, and they were so cool.
That was
just like, wow.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
go
but that was, I think, remarkable how, I'm the new guy coming in, and you're the new guy coming in, and to have middle school kids like welcome you.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I was, you replaced our teacher. It was like, hey, Miss Roth. It was just very warm, and that was like, wow.
Yeah.
Now, something else that I was wondering, I was thinking about this today, knowing that we were going to talk today, and I'm thinking, so two guys teaching third grade and seventh and eighth grade, and most schools you go in, it seems like you guys are definitely a minority. Like, isn't it mostly female teachers? Like,
it is.
You guys,
it is.
How like, do you feel that in any kind of way? Like, do you feel outnumbered? Do you feel, what's it like teaching as a guy in this day and age? Is there any differences, or are you just teaching?
I'll go. I don't really feel it or notice. I mean, I have. There's been positive, a lot of positive comments around it.
Yeah.
And positive feedback from parents as well, because we know that not all kids are coming up in a household with two parents, and sometimes I feel like I fill the void for some of these kids, and which makes my job extremely rewarding. I mean, to have the kids connect and lean on you and be there for them to talk to, and then also show them how to throw a football and hit a baseball and play soccer, like all of that stuff. Because on the playground, it's every single time I'm out there, I don't stand and watch. I'm playing. And so it's like coaching them. And a lot of these kids are athletes, and it's like it gives me a good opportunity to be like, hey, why don't you try this like in your game tonight? This is what I want you to do. Or I've had a couple wrestlers, and it's like I wrestled for a long time, and I'm like, check this out. If what's your go-to move? Like, check this one out. So like filling those voids, and the interactions with teachers is, I don't really feel it, but it's the ways I feel are in a positive way, I guess I should say.
Yeah. And Chris, how about you?
The school that I taught at before, I was in a very, very big or very small, I should say, minority. There weren't a lot of men at all. I worked with mostly women, and I really enjoyed working with the women. They were all like just, we're on the same wavelength. They were very well organized, and my strengths and their strengths kind of worked together. And here it's kind of 50-50, so that's really interesting how that is. But, it's not much of a, like Dave said, not much of a difference either way.
So no big deal.
I do notice that here, being a guy, I feel like at recess, for example, I've had kids many times invite me to play volleyball with them. And like that feels really good to be invited. As a teacher, you would think that they wouldn't. So we'd go out there every day and play volleyball. I had 2 kids the other day, 8th graders, that actually said that they thought that I would make a great dad. That would be a cool dad. And that was really powerful. And I don't know what their situation, I don't know what their family life is like, but having somebody tell you that, like, that's a beautiful thing to tell somebody.
Yeah.
When you think about the type of relationship that a father would have with a son or a daughter, and a mother, for that example, for that, but to have somebody that's not related to you say that was really powerful.
Yeah.
So I've never had anybody tell me that.
It's pretty neat.
So just a couple days ago,
they raise their hand, or hey, Dad, hear me, Mr. Dad. Yeah,
that's funny.
It's endearing.
That's funny.
For sure.
So now that one of you guys live in Brigantine, right?
No.
Okay. Any goals to live in Brigantine?
My wife and I originally looked here about 11 years ago. It was a little out of our price range, and now it's definitely out of our price range. But I would like to. I would love to.
Right?
I'm in Northfield. We just moved there. We were in Absecon for a while. We moved to Northfield, bought an old fixer-upper 100-year-old house.
Nice.
Lived in our camper for 2 months in the summertime and did a lot of renovations, and it's working out well. I love Northfield. And I have a garage, you could just get more land. Obviously.
I know. I know.
Having the garage allows me to do my side businesses and stuff. So,
okay.
But Brigantine is where we come when we're.
You want to go to the beach?
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, we drive on.
And, look, for those who don't know, Brigantine has really nice beaches.
They're
right?
incredible.
So, and it's it's funny because we do a lot of family photographs, a lot of portrait work up and down the beach, and some of the people that come here, and then we do pictures with, either they're like used to the south end or they're used to the north end, and they're always shocked when they see how big the beaches are.
Oh yeah,
southern and midway to the southern end of the island, and then the north end. Some of those people have been coming here for years and have never been to the other beaches. Don't even know how big they are. So I just find that interesting. So, but the beaches here are very nice.
They're awesome.
They take
spend a lot of time on these
beaches. They clean them, they rake them.
Yeah.
They if you go out early in the morning, they're cleaning them up, and it's nice. You walk out there and it's like, oh, it's nice.
My family started coming down here in the 90s.
Nice.
So we have a history of visiting Brigantine, and that's since I was a teenager. It always had a special.
Brigantine.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I actually live west of Mays Landing. We live in the middle of the woods, 5 acres, and it's I love living out in the middle of the woods. And I never really came. I mean, other than when my aunt, like back in the '80s, had a timeshare down here. I never really knew anything about Brigantine.
It's like the forgotten little
Yeah.
beach town, It's,
And what's interesting is that a couple of years ago, when my son was a freshman, he joined the crew team for ACIT. So then we were coming here all the time for practice. When I opened my photography business, the first family photo shoot that I had was a family here in Brigantine they grew up here. They scattered all throughout the country, some in California, some here. They found, I guess, the house that they grew up in was now an Airbnb. They all got together, rented the house for the week, and had a family reunion. The dad, a whole bunch of generations. And this is where my first photo shoot was. So, and then fast forward a year and a half later, here I am. So like I went from no Brigantine to all Brigantine within the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Yeah. The beaches are amazing.
They are nice. Yeah, my excursion into Brigantine was because I met my wife. Wasn't my wife then, obviously. So, and I had only heard about Brigantine. I worked with a guy that his family lived here, and on the weekends we get into work and we talk about what you did. He's like, I went to Brigantine, and that's it. When I came here, though, I'm like, oh wow, it's a nice. It's funny because it's just a little neighborhood town, or so it was. It's growing now, but it's a little neighborhood town that happens to be at the edge of land on the ocean.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very different than most Jersey beach towns.
Yes.
Yeah. Very different.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have all your normal beach town types of things. It's literally, quite literally, just a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like could be Medford or could be, Tabernacle. I mean, minus all the trees, of course. But it's just a town. Like a couple stores, a little bit here and there, but beautiful beaches.
Right.
And a really great community.
Yeah. Beaches are the main attraction here. There's no amusement stuff.
It's no boardwalk.
Yeah. But you're right. If you went and took a picture of, many, many different streets here without the context of where it was, probably wouldn't know that, it's very, like, there's a lot of regular, modest families that live here, which is, that's a nice thing.
Yeah. And I mean, there are also a lot of new big houses popping up
every day.
But yeah, Brigantine's, it's a nice little place. So, all right. So we have to talk to him after about a year or two, right? Maybe we'll redo this and
we'll circle back.
See how he's feeling about the 7th and 8th graders. And I already know how you feel about 3rd graders.
Yeah.
So 3rd graders are good. Chris, you just mentioned photography. So how about we segue away from teaching and into photography? Because I believe, Dave, you also are at least
not on your levels.
An avid
yes.
But it all starts with that bug. You get that little bug. And you're like, hey, this is kind of fun. I like it. So you mentioned, so you do a side thing, you do photography. Is it more of a hobby or is it a side business?
It actually is a side business. Although, my wife and I have been talking about actually transitioning away from that and just kind of going back and doing it as a hobby. I love doing the photography. It's a lot of fun. But for events, as you know,
yes,
it's
a lot of work.
It's a lot. And with a full-time job, and a family and a son who's going to be going away to college soon, I want to be able to spend that time with my wife and my son while they're still here. So I actually just bought myself a new camera and a new lens, and my goal for that is to just go out and do landscapes, take pictures of my wife's beautiful sunflowers that she grows every year, and the bees come to it. And I love photography, as I know you two both do, and I want to keep that passion alive. Like I get excited, really super excited. Like when I hold the lens in my hand and I take a picture and I look on the back, I'm like, I get so excited with that. And being able to take pictures of objects or things in a way that people don't usually see them. I used to think before I was a photographer, I remember like back in school, I used to think, oh, photography, that's easy. You just click a camera and,
Yeah.
the painters and
Well, but it can be in some circumstances. It can be rather easy. It depends on what your
Sure.
style of photography is, or
True.
what it is you're photographing. Because there are some things that are a little easier than others. You mentioned we were talking off camera. You mentioned events. Events are a whole different animal. How did you get into photography?
Well, it's completely serendipitously. Well, so photography.
He teaches 7th and 8th grade, folks. He's using big words now.
That's a $5 word. Well, I got into photography first. My father had a 1969 Yashica film camera, and when I was back in high school, I had just come out of a middle school class where we were in the dark room, which was a completely magical place. And he showed me his, when I was in 9th grade, he showed me his Yashica, and I started, just taking pictures of old cars. I had a 72 Oldsmobile, which I still have. So I would take pictures of that. And it was just really, really neat. And my wife bought me my first digital camera back in 2007, right before my son was born. It was a Canon Digital Rebel XT, which I still have.
Yes.
And I got the nifty 50 1.8, and I just fell in love with it. And I was there to take pictures of my son the second after he was born. Put it on the table, and I still have the picture. He was looking up at me like, "Dad, why are you taking pictures?"
Yeah.
And he still feels that way. But as far as the business goes, I had actually a friend of mine that I used to teach with was a wedding planner on the side, and her photographer that she normally used had got COVID, and she came to me on a Friday and said, "Hey,"
She was in a bind.
she was in a bind, and she said, "Hey, would you mind? Can you do this? I'm really stuck." And I said, "Well, can I think about it?" And she's like, "Well, we really don't have time to think about it." I go, "When is it?" She said, "Tomorrow."
Tomorrow.
I'm like, crikeys. So I never photographed a wedding before.
It's a lot.
It is. So I basically stayed up all night and did some research online trying to figure out how to do this. And I did it, and I loved it. It was very intense. It was very, there was no downtime. One thing that I forgot to do was to drink anything. So I was like,
headache at the end of the night.
Oh my gosh,
After
yes.
the reception, you get those the next day. We used to call them the reception hangovers.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's real. That's real.
Weddings are very so. So how about you with photography? And then we'll bounce back and forth because I want to hear more about your experience and how the wedding went. But let's leave a little bit of a cliffhanger for the people watching, and let's talk to Dave.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of similar. I was I got a point and shoot camera in the early 2000s that I could fit in my pocket, and I took it everywhere. It was a Panasonic. I had a G35 or something.
Who was it that had the digital elf? I remember
that was Canon had the elf.
Was it Canon?
I'm not
Canon
familiar.
elf, yes.
A little flat one, but before that there was one that was bigger, and I remember getting that with like the smallest of memory cards.
Yeah,
and that's how I got started.
Yeah,
and
it's
enjoyed it
because you could bring it everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was always in my pocket. We'd go out with friends. We'd be at parties or having events, and I was just snapping away. And then after the fact, everybody would be like, "Hey, can you share those pictures?" Yeah, sure. This is before social media and stuff. So I'd be emailing pictures out. And, people would break my stones about, you got your camera and you always taking pictures and everything else. But then ended up, those were the people that were asking for the pictures. But
always.
So yeah, it always came with me. And then I stepped it up to another point and shoot with a super zoom. Which was a lot of fun, and it really opened the doors to like getting that bokeh, because if you would zoom in all the way, it was a 10x. It was a 10x type lens, and it was really fun. So that was like, all right, I think
so you could achieve that separation.
Yeah, it was
what you get with the
just shooting the moon. You could put it on a tripod, like, wow, this is insane what I can get. And so then I went to a Micro Four Thirds setup, which is Panasonic as well. I kind of stuck with Panasonic because I knew the software. I knew it's like going from an
Yeah,
iPhone
right,
to an Android.
right.
So I stuck with it and got the Micro Four Thirds set up. I have a couple prime lenses, and I've done a couple of small weddings. I've done birthdays and proms and family photo shoots. Pine Barrens, Batstow Beach. Just kind of all over the place. And because I carried my point and shoot, my friends would ask me, "Hey, can you take pictures?" I'm like, "I'll try."
Right.
And I just would go with it, say sure, and it was fun, and I really enjoy it. I really love my prime lenses. I like a fixed prime lens. It's just like really fun. You're moving your
Zoom with
body.
your feet.
Yeah,
instead of
like
the camera. Yeah.
yeah. So that's always been like my go-to, and I'm always the one at the family function still with the camera around my neck.
Mhm.
And I love candids. I love candid photos more than anything.
Right.
Catching kids doing things that they don't know they're being photographed. So you're not turning and cheesing. You're just like, ooh,
Cheese.
yeah.
And especially nowadays, because these kids have grown up with their parents have cell phones or grandparents have cell phones, and we see a lot when kids are posing for a picture. We have to find a way to pull them away from the cheesy smile,
Right.
so that it's natural. So we interact with them, we play with them. Kelly is a child whisperer, no kidding. Like, just every kid ends up her best friend before halfway through a photo session, always. So sometimes we get the kids that they just do that cheesy cheese thing, and even the parents are like, "That's not how you smile." So trying to get them out of that is sometimes a little bit of work, but always worth it. Always worth it in the end. So if you're taking pictures of kids, I encourage you to find a way to get them to laugh. Even if you have to take it to the fart jokes, works every time. And it works good with dads too.
Oh, yeah.
Well said. Back to, real quick, you guys shared how you got started. So I got started probably early 2000s, maybe 2006 or 7. A guy I worked with gave me a camera. And simply because I had one of those little point shoots, and he knew I enjoyed taking pictures. And then just kind of messing with him with Photoshop. And he was like, "Hey, I think you're going to do good things with this." I'm like, "Oh, cool." Then I had to learn. And his nephew was a full-time wedding photographer and invited me along and showed me a lot of the ropes,
Nice.
quite a bit. I learned a lot from him. And from there, it just progressed, became less of a hobby after a while. And I found out, hey, I can make some extra money doing this.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to make extra money? So I started that way, and then ended up booking my own weddings, and then started doing weddings. And like you, I was working full-time manufacturing and had a photography business also. And it is a lot of work because so much goes on behind the scenes that people are not aware of. It's not just the day of.
No.
And what's very unique about wedding photography or event photography, maybe even more so with wedding photography, because an event could be a corporate event or something, but a wedding, you need to be good at product shots, portraits, candids, low light, bright light, too much light, not enough light, off-camera light, right? Action. Yeah. All of these things, timing, knowing when somebody's going to be in the right place.
And you have to know how to communicate with all different kinds of people.
All different kinds of
who are either really stressed, or sometimes they're a bit drunk, or sometimes there's family dynamics, people that don't get along. So trying to get all these people into a picture at the same time with the right lighting, and it's like,
which is part of the fun of it.
Yes, that's a challenge.
There are a lot of stress. They're a lot of fun. We've done much less. We like to stick to smaller word of mouth. We love the portrait stuff, especially, we live here. So why wouldn't you want to do more of what is at your fingertips? And it's great. It's fun. We meet a lot of different families, create relationships with them. A lot of them we become very friendly with, and it's fun, so that's how I got started. My wife, very different. Hers was the dark room and the film and the art and woo, and me was like, I can make money. So it's very different. So let's get back to, how did that wedding go with you?
It went really well. It was really intense. I learned that I need, in addition to drinking water, that I need to wear several shirts underneath my. I came in with a button-down shirt with a tie, and it was a hot September humid day.
Sweat a lot.
I was sweating like you would think my shirt was three shades darker.
We're dark colors. That's another trick.
I learned that, but it went really well, and the clients, bride and groom, loved the photos, and that's when I thought, hey, maybe I can do this. So that's when we started our own business, and it was, it was really neat. It still is. Like I enjoy interacting with people, and I've been moving more toward doing families and doing like having photo shoots of my my 8th graders who are now seniors, and they come back and they want senior shots, and that's really special because you have that history with them, and they feel comfortable with you. And I always have, their parents always tell me like, hey, I've never seen him or her so comfortable behind a camera or in front of a camera. They never liked their pictures taken.
Right.
So to me, that's like a really nice compliment. The fact that, because I've had that relationship with them, I can get them to smile.
So there's already that connection.
Yes.
So they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And Dave, you've done some events, right?
Yeah.
What was your experience?
It was stressful.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you're
It's a lot.
trusting me to do this. I mean, I'll do my best and give it my all, and it worked out. But like, I just remember the stress of just making sure I captured as much as I could.
I will say this
way.
though, as you do more and more weddings, it becomes very second nature, and you can pretty much kind of roll through anything that comes your way. And as you build that confidence, they do become more fun. However, they are pretty rough on your body.
Yeah.
They're real, like now as I'm getting older, a wedding, an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-hour day. And like you said, it's almost nonstop.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And you have to carry all your stuff with you all day, unless it's at a venue where everything's taking place there. So, that also was one of the reasons why now we'll do less. Like,
More
getting older, it's, it's just, I try to take care of myself, but it's still a lot of work. It's a lot.
And I think the thing too is, you had mentioned before about a lot going on behind the scenes. And I think with weddings, and especially with a lot of the clients that I've had, where they don't have a wedding planner.
You become
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're talking with the florist, you're talking with the DJ, you're talking with the venue, and you're coming up with the schedule a lot of times, and which is good in a way because that kind of gives you more control, and you know how you work. So hey, I need this much time for this much time for this, and it's exciting in a way because you only have one chance, So
and every wedding's different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was always very certain to share that with clients and let them know. And they may have certain expectations of how their day is going to go. I can almost guarantee it doesn't. Right? Something comes up, right. Something's different. And I always explain the same thing with photography. You may love that picture you found on Pinterest or you saw somebody else post, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
If it does and we can do it, we're certainly going to try to do it. But, what I found in the evolution of wedding photography, for me personally, I found myself in a situation where it was just more beneficial for me to be a second photographer. So I would collaborate with some other photographers, which is actually how Kelly and I met, through one of these other photographers. And being the second photographer is fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. You get all the action shots, you get all the candid shots, you get all the reactions, you float around the room, you look for the artistic views, you look for the things that the main photographer doesn't have time for.
Yeah.
That's what I would want.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
You had mentioned how somebody took you under their wing. I had a similar situation. One of the mothers of some students at my old school, who was a photographer, she took me under her wing, and she basically gave me her whole schedule and said, whatever, any weddings that you want to come and shoot. I didn't ask for any money. Obviously, I'm just happy to be there.
Kind of shadow.
But she was kind enough and generous enough to let me use any of those photos that I wanted for my portfolio, so that I could build it up and kind of build up credibility. So I am very appreciative of her being able to do that, because that's not something that a lot of photographers.
No, that's it. Well, so early on when I was starting to do weddings, I had a friend of mine that we had our path in the beginning was similar, and he had a camera and was taking pictures of like his nieces and his family and his friends and coworkers, and he shared with me he was going to photograph, I think it was a niece or something, somebody's wedding. I was like, well, have you shot a wedding at all? And he's like, no. I'm like, why don't you come help me out on one so you can see the ins and outs and see what's going on, so you have a better understanding. And he did it, and he's quite phenomenal now. Like, he's very proud of how much
That's neat.
he is, because you grow. We all look back those early pictures, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We don't like to talk about those, but
it's a little rough.
but you learn and you grow. And as you grow and you develop your style and and he's I enjoy seeing his work online. It's really good, and to know that maybe I had a little help in there, James, wink wink. But no, I like seeing his work. I'm very proud of where he's gone with it.
So I have a question for you, actually. Do you and Kelly ever experience, or I'm sure not now, but was there a time toward the beginning where you experienced imposter syndrome?
Oh yeah, look, photography is just in life. I was just telling Kelly this, I think 2 days ago. It's like you just feel like, man, I'm not good enough.
2 days ago, you felt that?
Yeah.
Like, I look at your website, and I'm like, my gosh, these are beautiful photographs.
Well,
it's crazy.
And you're like you know what I mean?
Totally.
You got beautiful photos. Man. Are you kidding me?
It's. I think when you're creative in any sense, when you do something, you're always looking, how can I do it better, right? And when you do something, you're like, could have been better, or if something seems a little easy. Like I said, as you take pictures, we'll go do family pictures, and we're just hanging out, having fun with the family.
Oh yeah.
In fact, sometimes I get myself in trouble because Kelly's like, "Hey, you need to stop chit-chatting so much and come take some pictures," because
I get
I like meeting the people,
thing.
talking with them. I make it a goal to try to remember everybody's name, even if it's a group of 12. My goal is
that's great.
Midway through, I know everybody's name, and so I like meeting people. I like talking with them, and
then your hour session turns into 2 hours.
No, they never really go that long, because we have a way that we photograph that kind of keeps us on track, because especially the time of day we shoot, it's
you don't have much
sunset.
Yeah.
So you're working with the sun. So I'm talking while we're doing things, while Kelly is whispering with the children, whispering with the grown-ups, and getting to know who they are and where they're from and what they do. And, so it's fun in that way, but it feels easy, like you learn the camera, you're comfortable with it, and you know when the light's good and when the people are in the right place, and you sense a genuine affection between, especially if it's a couple. And when you see it, you just click. Sometimes I take extra pictures thinking like, oh, it was too easy, and then Kelly will say, hey, why are you taking so many pictures? And so that's part of that imposter thing, like that just seemed too easy.
Yeah.
But I think it's like anything you enjoy doing. When you do it, you become very proficient, and sometimes you question, should it be this easy?
And I think too, like anybody who's involved in any kind of like artistic thing where you're creating something, I think people like that instinctively tend to be sensitive people.
Mhm.
You're putting yourself out there,
Right.
and you're creating something.
I'm laughing because I know Kelly's off camera right now thinking, yeah, Craig's a sensitive guy.
But that's what makes you a good photographer.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, when you because if you're empathetic and sympathetic, I'm probably using those words in the wrong context,
No.
but you know, you're putting yourself in the situation with those people, and that kind of makes you one with them anyway for that one time. And you know, and maybe you felt this way with what you photographed, the events, and I don't know how you feel or not, but you know, you spend time with these families before, and you spend that whole hour with them, and the time you spend is very intense, and then you're done.
Right.
And then it's like, for a sensitive person, you're like, okay, well,
I'm going to miss you.
yeah. Yes, that's what, yeah.
I was hoping that we were going to get into some car talk, at least. Now, I'm not a big car guy per se. I don't have a garage, don't have the money for like a hot rod or anything like that. But I grew up always working on cars. Had a couple cool cars back in the day that I think what we'll do is, you have a garage. It's getting warmer. I think we should have maybe a part 2 of this where we come hang out with you and we do a little car talk. But before we do that, let's say if you guys, if any of us, and we'll all share, if we go to, what does it say, like Barrett Jackson, right, auction, and our dream car rolls up on that stage and we have the money, unlimited funds. Chris, we'll start with you. What are you getting?
I'm staying home. I'm not going to Barrett Jackson because honestly, the 2 dream cars are right in my own garage. They're both in states of disrepair, but I have a 72 Oldsmobile Cutlass that I've had since I was 16.
Cutlass is nice.
Yep. And I'm probably 80% done with the car. Whole chassis, everything. Body back on, but needs paint. And then my son's car, which we've been working on together, it's a 91 Mustang convertible.
Nice.
Fox
body.
Fox
Body. It's a GT, 5-speed. It's in a million pieces, but we're assembling one car out of 2, and it's just been an amazing experience with my son. So to me, that's a dream car because that's created more memories for the 2 of us than anything else that I could just buy. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's how my first one started, 2 cars. But so, all right. So Dave, what about you?
I'm going all in.
Yeah, unlimited money, right? Like,
yeah. So like I'm the way you guys are with photography. I'm more so with cars. I feel like you guys are on a different level in photography. But as far as cars are concerned, I'm going all in on a Ferrari F355.
Oh, okay.
Now the F355 is a small high revving V8 engine, and it just Google or YouTube it. The sound of the F355 is the symphony.
What year are we talking?
Anywhere from, I think it came out in 93 to 97. I don't like the new stuff. There's too many nannies and gizmos, and I don't want a dual clutch automatic. No, I want to slam through I want to slam through a metal gated shifter, and I want to turn the knobs. Yeah, I want to feel connected to the road and not have all this technology telling me what I can and can't do. I have an old Wrangler. That's why I like that. It's all levers and buttons, like switches. It's just simple. I like simple. And I think the 90s were an awesome time for cars because they had just enough tech to kind of keep you safe.
Yeah.
And to keep the car running in a reliable way, but also they're still raw.
Would it have to be red?
I'll take any color, but I'll
Any
go
color.
red. Red would be red.
That would be ideal.
Yeah,
red.
red.
I mean, look, we're saying the car,
Red.
all the money, the car you want comes across that line.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, because the first car I had that was the Frankenstein car was a 73 Camaro.
Oh, beautiful car.
I didn't have the money to ever do what my brother was very talented with auto body, and he did a lot of Bondo, a lot of fiberglass work, painted it 76 Corvette yellow. It was pretty. It looked nice, and eventually put a small block 400 in it. But I see those come up on the gram sometimes and I see what some of them sell for. And I know they're cars that are way cooler, way nicer, much more money. But I see some of those selling for 60, 70, 80
Yeah.
grand. And I've seen some that are just so perfect. Enough of the modern updates to make them just nicer. But I just love the lines of that car.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a beautiful
I
body.
would
is.
love it.
It's my favorite Camaros.
And ideally, if I get like a split bumper. The split front bumper is mine. Had the one piece front bumper.
Did they have split bumpers in 73?
No, I
Did they
think
do
it was
70
71 or 2.
70 and 71. I think.
Yeah, the early ones. So they weren't different in many other ways other than that.
Right.
And I think that the front lights were.
It's a beautiful car.
But man, I just love the lines of that. So that would be mine. So
Nice.
I like the
So
whole.
that's
I
it.
like the muscle car. I like the
Yeah.
muscle car era for sure.
yeah, the sound of it,
Yeah.
just that throaty, like you stomp on it, just
Mhm.
both wheels are spinning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's nice. Cars these days don't do that.
No.
No.
You got Subaru.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
But
They
the
just
turbo is fun, though.
They
The turbo-
just go.
We can't spin the tires. Though.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been another episode of Tell Me More, and we're going to get back together sometime in the future to be determined, and they're going to tell us more. We're going to talk a little more about cars, and we'll see what else pops up by then. So, gentlemen, this was
a pleasure.
great.
Thank you so much for this. This is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
We'll do this again. All right,
Beautiful.
see you. All right, so if you haven't already, help us out, subscribe, follow us, look for new episodes that come out, find us on Instagram, find us on Facebook, look into the links below, and we'll be sure to add all that down there so you can find us on all of our appropriate social media platforms. Until then, take care.